Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, where today we're going to be doing a very casual, cool, chatty, informal Q&A video. I've got my cross stitch just because I've got to have something to do with my hands whilst I chat to the camera. Yeah, I very rarely film any content that's not my true crime history or the occasional book video nowadays. That's for a reason, it's intentional. I just don't feel the need to share details of my personal life on the internet anymore. Is that personal growth? I think it might be. But I do still get requests from you guys asking for lifestyle content, asking for something a bit more personal, because you want to get to know the person behind the stories on the internet, which I get because I'm the same. I want to know stuff about people that I watch on YouTube as well. And yeah, I figured maybe an annual, just one a year Q&A video might be enough to sort of satiate that. I am a bit more personal on my Instagram and Twitter, but even then I'm quite, I don't know, I just don't feel the need to share details of my personal life. Maybe that's come with age, or maybe that's just come with sort of having a platform on the internet. I don't really know, but that's the way it is now. Like, that's not to say I don't want to share anything at all, like I'm not that precious about it. I just don't feel the need to talk about myself in a way that I used to, which, personal growth. Also, you probably already noticed the echo. I wanted to film in the lounge because it's a lot more like chill in here. I just wanted to sit on my sofa and film a video, but I forgot about the echo. It's very echoey in here, but I've committed, so I'm doing it. And the sun is driving me insane already, and I'm only 2 minutes into this video, so just ignore whatever the sun's doing. It's gonna do its own thing. We're gonna let it. I actually asked for questions this time on the community tab on YouTube, and I really like it. I don't think I've ever done that before, because you can actually see how many people have liked each question. So I have a really good idea of what you guys actually want to know. And apparently what you really want to know is all about my girlfriend and my sexuality. So I suppose later in the video I might touch on that, but we're gonna start with something a little bit more lighthearted, I guess. Which question shall we begin with? Let's start easy. What type of music do you like or listen to a lot? I listen to almost exclusively Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and musicals. I think that's it. Harry Styles. Very into Dua Lipa at the moment. Her latest album, Future Nostalgia, is so good. Miley Cyrus. Basically any pop female and musicals is my jam. Charlie asks, can we get an update on your horse? Of course you can. There's not loads to update you on, if I'm being honest. He is still a horse. He's called Mojo. He's 15 years old, or turning 16 this year actually. He is a New Forest breed. He is a cheeky little bugger. I love him ever so much. This time last year I actually lost my old pony. I had Danny when I was 12 and I lost him last year, and I'm not going to talk about it because I will start crying again. Still can't talk about him or think about him without crying, so we're gonna brush over that. But I got Mojo in September. I spent all summer looking for like my perfect pony because I didn't want to settle for anything less than perfect. And Mojo came along, and he was immediately so cheeky and a little bit naughty, but also perfect to ride. And I snapped him up, and now he's mine, and we're still getting on fantastically. And we've got a little sharer who comes and does him 2 days a week. So my sharer like takes him out to little shows and stuff, which is really nice, because I'm not really interested in going to shows and show jumping. That's not my kind of thing. I just like to give him a groom and love him and play games with him, and he's just so cute and so naughty. I'm gonna put in some like clips here so you can actually see him because I'm obsessed. So as you can see, he is a little bugger. He's full of personality, which is exactly what I wanted, because my Danny was so full of personality himself that the last thing I wanted was a boring horse. And some are boring. Like, horses do have personalities, and some of those personalities are dull. Mojo is anything but that. I'm really excited for our first summer together. I'm excited to take him out to some like showing classes and just spend time with him when it's not muddy and rainy all the time, which is going to be so nice. Yeah, it's great. I take him out for hacks. My girlfriend actually has horses herself, so we take our ponies out for hacks together, and it's so cute and so wholesome, and it is my favourite weekend activity. So yeah, that's my life. Horse girl. Would I ever consider doing a podcast or collabing with another true crime YouTuber? Funny you should say this, because I've actually just released a podcast. It's called Mysteries and Histories. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and some other places. The light, I told you this light's going to be really annoying. It really is. Yeah, this is my podcast. In terms of collabing with other YouTubers, I don't think so, just because I'm just going to fix this light whilst I talk because it's really annoying. My cross stitch just fell onto the floor as well. In terms of collabing with other YouTubers, probably not, just because I'm such an awkward human and I can barely hold conversations with friends I've had for the last 10 years. So collabing with another YouTuber puts the fear of God into me, so probably not. Kira asks, I hope you continue doing YouTube for a long time, but what are some other careers and fields you're interested in? I've always said I'd love to be a history teacher. I would love to be a history teacher, but I don't know how great I'd be at being a teacher because I'm not a very intimidating human, and I'm 5'1", and I feel like I would get stampeded over by teenagers. But I would be interested in becoming a history teacher, or perhaps a counsellor or something along those lines. I really like the idea of helping people. I like to think I'm quite a good listener, not to blow my own trumpet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that I can make YouTube a long-term career. Obviously, this is quite a new career, so you don't know where it's going to be in 10 years' time. But honestly, I really like being self-employed. Like, I've been spoiled with the self-employed life now for 2 years, and also all of my family is self-employed as well. Like, every single member of my family pretty much is self-employed. So that's always kind of been the mindset that I've grown up in, like running your own business. So I don't think I could actually go back to working a actually employed job. So I'd like to figure out something I can do in the self-employment sector. What that is, I don't really know. But we're just gonna see where life takes me. I'm totally chill about it. It doesn't keep me up at night at all, no. Do you get people thinking you're very weird or psycho for having a fascination with true crime? This is something I get often. No, I feel like it's very normal for women to have an interest in true crime. And I feel like it's something that a lot of women get sort of like looked down upon for. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of the fascination with true crime comes from wanting to keep yourself safe. At least that's where it comes from for me, I think, and for a lot of other like female friends I've spoken to. If you can figure out what goes on inside the mind of a man, and I'm not saying that every true crime story a man is a perpetrator, but there's no denying that the majority of the time it is. I feel like if you can learn about the mind and how these men operate, you can protect yourself in a way. And I think that's why women in particular really do have an interest in true crime. It all comes from a place of self-preservation. And I think a lot of people are beginning to understand that. So I don't really ever get people looking down on me for it. What I will say though, which is again very interesting, is the majority of the time when I get somebody hating on me for doing true crime on the internet, 99% of the time the person hating on me is a man. Which again, I don't really want to generalise, but for men I think a lot of them do see it as just like entertainment, like people watch this for entertainment value and not so much to learn and to figure out how to keep yourself safe. And yeah, I can't speak for everyone, but that's just kind of the angle I'm seeing it from. I think I actually had another question along those lines as well. Where is it? Do you feel comfortable or safe as a female discussing true crime? I've always wondered if the female true crime community received any strange messages from family members of victims and or potential suspects or the suspects themselves. Stay safe. This is quite a difficult question, and I do wonder if subconsciously this is one of the reasons why I've stopped uploading the lifestyle stuff. Because of course with true crime comes people who are interested in true crime because that's what they're interested in and they are criminals themselves. I've never personally felt unsafe. I've never felt threatened because of what I do. But I can see a world in which that could be a possibility. In terms of receiving messages from family members or suspects, 99.9% of the messages I've received from family members have been overwhelmingly positive. And that's probably because the majority of my videos, or a lot of my videos, I work in conjunction with said family members. So that kind of makes sense. I've never received anything from suspects, but then again, I'm very, very careful, like, legally, in terms of naming suspects and how much I can say. A lot of it is allegedly, and everything I say is public knowledge. I'm not making anything up. I always link all of my sources in the description box, and I'm just telling you information that has come from other legitimate sources. But yeah, I'm really sorry I don't have a really interesting answer to that question. I feel like I'm just a very cautious person anyway, and everything makes me nervous. I'm anxious about everything all of the time, so I am extra careful. And I think that means that I don't really have to super worry about these specific things because I am careful in all aspects. Who is your favourite queen, past or present, from Drag Race UK? There's only one answer to that, and it's Bimini Bombulash. I was furious when she didn't win season 2. I'm still getting over it, but it's fine. Like, I'm very happy for the winner. Like, it was well deserved. The winner deserved to win. Like, she was an obvious win from day one. In my heart, I just really wanted it to be Bimini, and I love her. I've actually got tickets to go see the United King dolls I can't remember, in the summer at some point, and I'm just so excited. It's gonna be so great. I'm a Bimini stan. Jess asks, would I ever write a book? I feel like it's so cliche now, isn't it? Like, every YouTuber ever writes a book, and they're usually crap. And I would not want to join those ranks. But I do love writing. Writing is one of my favourite things. It's something I've always felt really passionate about. What have I done here? I've done my cross stitch wrong, guys. Wait a sec. I can't remember what I was saying. Book. I love writing, basically. My favourite part of what I do is writing my scripts and researching and sort of that aspect of it. Like, the actual filming the videos, I could very much take or leave, but the writing is something I feel so passionate about, and I love writing the scripts, and I love putting it all together. So I love writing. Actually, fun fact about me, I don't think I've ever said this on the internet before, but when I was like 13, 14, I actually had a monthly column or a bi-weekly column in my local newspaper that I just like write every month because I wanted to be a journalist, and I got into that somehow. Which is pretty cool. Like, in hindsight, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So I've always loved writing, basically, is where I'm going with that. And I would love to write a book one day, but I don't want to write one for the sake of writing one. I do have ideas. Like, I have sort of like plot lines, like, around in my head, but I don't feel the need to sit down and write it just yet. But maybe one day I might actually sit down and write it, and it might be crap or it might be alright. We'll see. Your perspective on the royals and this current situation, that got 45 thumbs up. People really want to know what I think of the royals. And the answer is only disappointing in that I don't really care. Like, I just don't have a perspective, really. Like, I've always been fascinated with the monarchy in terms of, like, a historical standpoint. But would I be that bothered if the monarchy came to an end? Not really. I don't know if it would affect me in any way. I don't think it really would. Like, I think from a historical standpoint, it would be sad to see the monarchy end, but I actually wouldn't really care. In the terms of this current situation, which I take to mean the whole Harry and Meghan thing, I just think the UK press is so vile, like, just so awful, that I don't blame them for wanting to leave the royal family. I don't see why it's such a big deal that Harry doesn't want to be in the royal family. Like, he's never been that bothered from, like, what everyone or the public knows of him. He's never really enjoyed being a royal. And so I don't know why it's so unexpected when he was like, yeah, I'm just not really bothered about it, I'm going to leave. And I don't really think Meghan has anything to do with it. I just don't get why people care. I just don't care. Like, live your life. Let them live their life. If they want to leave the royal family, let them. If they want to stay in the royal family, let them. Like, who cares? I just think the UK press is so nasty, and it actually has really, really shocked me, the amount of middle-aged white women I have on my Facebook who I've just seen spouting some, like, vile stuff against Meghan Markle. And it's genuinely shocked me, like, people I wouldn't expect. And I'm like, oh, the Daily Mail's really got to you, hasn't it? I just don't get it. Like, I just don't understand why people seem to care so much. Although I must say, one thing about the whole sort of narrative that really baffles me is everyone's like, oh, Meghan's such a money-grabbing, hungry person. She just wants to be part of royalty. She doesn't actually care. But if that was the case, why are you then so angry about her removing Harry from the royal family? Because there's more money if he's in the royal family than if he's not. They just need to get their hatred straight. They just need to figure out why they hate her and just stick to that one narrative, because it just makes no sense. Tyler Rogers asks, what are my favourite TV shows and movies? And funny you should ask that, because this video is actually very kindly sponsored by Prime Video. Prime Video, how cool is that? My favourite TV show, and this is not a secret to anyone who's been following me on Instagram or Twitter for the past year, is Grey's Anatomy. I started watching it around this time last year, and when I say I've been obsessed with it, I've watched it all the way through. There's 15 seasons, or I think it's on the 17th season now, but there's 15 seasons on Prime, and I have watched it so many times. It's become like my comfort program. Like, it's just always on in the background. I don't know why I find it comforting. I'm a huge hypochondriac, and I think it's actually quite bad for me, but I bloody love it. And I think we can all agree in this past year, streaming services have been an absolute lifeline, and Prime Video has been my go-to. I've been watching Grey's Anatomy, Heroes. I used to be obsessed with Heroes. It's on Amazon Prime. Lost, Ugly Betty, like so many amazing TV shows. They have such a wide range of content, everything from movies like 1917 and Parasite, which are both just incredible award-winning movies, to TV shows like The Office and Parks and Rec. And because I know we all love a bit of true crime over here, they also have 7 of the original seasons of Unsolved Mysteries from the 80s and 90s. I've been blasting my way through those in the past couple of weeks, and they have loads of seasons of Deadly Women as well, which is about deadly women. It's awesome if you're into true crime. Also, if you're interested in some Amazon original shows, you really need to watch Ripper Street, which I watched the first 2 seasons. I really need to watch the 3rd one. It's about police officers in the aftermath of the Jack the Ripper murders in Whitechapel. It is so good. So I didn't even realise this, but Prime Video actually has a YouTube channel, which is like so good. Just last week, Rose and Rosie did a video talking about their favourite queer content on Prime Video, and I'm now obsessed with that channel, so if you're interested, I'll leave it linked down below because you should go watch it. Okay, now for what I'm sure you've all clicked on this video for. If you're comfortable, I'd love you to talk a bit more about your sexuality and how you came to terms with it and how you came out to your loved ones. 86 of you have thumbs up that comment, so I suppose I can't really ignore it. I don't know how much I feel comfortable sharing. In terms of my sexuality, I don't really know how to put a label on it. What I know 100% certainty is I like women. I've known that since I was about 13 years old. That has always been a very solid thing in my life. I 100% like women. The big question is, do I like men? I don't know. I can look at a man and I can be like, yes, you are attractive. I don't know. But like, do I even find men attractive? Is it just like compulsory heterosexuality that makes me think I have to find men attractive because that's what's expected of me? I cannot tell you. And I'm the kind of person that needs labels. I have to label myself. I have to put myself in a box, because anything other than that makes me very nervous, and I just can't give you the answer to that question. In general, I like to identify as gay or queer. I don't feel like I quite fit into like lesbian or bisexual. I'm somewhere like in the middle of those. This whole lighting situation and the fact that the sun is in and out of these clouds like a bloody yo-yo is making me stress sweat. I'm sweating because I'm so mad at the sun right now. Continuing with the question, I suppose, how I came to terms with it. It really wasn't something I ever recall having to come to terms with. It's just something that I've always kind of been aware of. I remember the first time I realised, like, oh shit, I like girls. I was in the cinema watching Centrinians, the first Centrinians, and Gemma Arterton walks around the corner in that skirt and the hair, and I literally remember thinking in that moment, like, oh no. And then I just kind of went on with my life. And then when I was 18, like, I'd never had relationships. I'd never had a relationship with boys. I never had any relationship with girls. I just sort of like just carried on with my life. In hindsight, the reason I didn't have relationships with boys when everyone else was because I just didn't care. I wasn't interested. Then I started my job at 18 and my best friend was gay. and it was just kind of fine. And how I came out to my loved ones, that is a stressful story that I'm not going to tell on the internet right this moment. Was it even stressful? I don't really know. It's just weird. I don't like talking about myself that much, and like having to like go to people and be like, by the way, I like girls. It's just a conversation that I just don't like having. It's just weirdly invasive. It's invasive having to go to people and say like, by the way, this is what I'm interested in. It just feels weird to me. It feels uncomfortable. And I just subtly slide it into conversation, or just put up a photo and let people figure out for themselves, or just make hints, because I don't want to have that conversation. It's so uncomfortable to me. I don't like it. I will never like it. Like, some people really feel empowered by like having that conversation with people. I don't. It just feels invasive, and it's not natural to me. Whether I was straight or gay, I still wouldn't go to my parents and talk to them in detail about feelings. That's just not who I am, so I just don't do that, really. Maybe one day in the future I'll do a video where I go more into detail of that, but no promises. I'll do it if I feel comfortable ever doing it, but I don't know if I will, so maybe not. Would I be willing to tell you a bit about my girlfriend, how we met, how long we've been together, etc.? Yes, we met on Tinder just over a year ago. It is actually our anniversary on the 21st of March, which I suppose you're seeing this at the end of March, but currently I'm filming this on the 19th, so it's our 1 year anniversary in 2 days. We met on the 28th February last year, and yeah, we've been together for a year now, officially. We met on Tinder, like I said, but we've actually known of each other for a really long time. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, she's horsey, so ironically, she's actually known my mum and my sister, or both my sisters, and my dad for longer than she's known me. And like, apparently she's known of me and known that I'm queer for like years. The sun. As I was saying, she'd known of me and known I was queer for years, because about 4-5 years ago, one of my best friends actually met Holly at a party and tried to set her up on a date with me, because in my friend's word, you two would be perfect for each other. And my friend came to me and said, I found your perfect girl, I'm going to set you up on a blind date. And I said, please God, no. I don't want to go on a blind date. I'm way too awkward for that shit. Absolutely not. Anyway, long story short, that girl was Holly. Fast forward to February 2020, and we matched on Tinder, and the rest is history. But yeah, like I said, she actually knew my family before she knew me, and she knew I was queer, and apparently she'd always see me at horse shows and be like, her. And I was kind of oblivious to it all, so that's our story. It's much more romantic if you give like the whole backstory rather than just we met on Tinder. Okay, I suppose I'll do one more question. What is the lucky question? Oh yeah, loads of people have asked about my appendix. Laura says, how are you doing health-wise comparatively after your surgery for the appendicitis? I know that video was only 3 months ago, but has your health been still continually improving? Yeah, to be fair, I don't really think I've got any more updates to give after my video. I think it was in December that I uploaded that. I still feel fine. I've had no more pain since. I did get like a niggling little pain in my stomach like about 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh no, it's beginning. But it didn't turn into the appendix pain, so I think I can safely say at this point that I haven't had any pain since August, and it was definitely my appendix that was causing all the pain for the last 5 years. I can eat a whole lot better. I think I said that in my last video, but I sort of started to get really scared of food because I thought my problems were triggered by food. So I really struggled with food for the last couple of years, but ever since August I've started to be able to eat properly again, and I've been brave enough to try new foods. I'm a super fussy eater, and it's a real bugbear of mine when people are like really looking down on fussy eaters, because I had such a legitimate reason as to why I sort of got this fear with foods. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better at sort of like, I can go to a restaurant now and not only go for the same thing on the menu each time, I can actually occasionally be like, oh, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to be brave today, which is really nice. So mostly the biggest changes since December is just my confidence has continued to grow. Also, really weirdly, I've lost weight. Or actually, no, losing weight isn't quite the right way to put it. I don't know how much I weigh because I don't have scales. But my stomach was constantly a little bit bloated. It was just like not flat ever. And in hindsight, I actually think it's because my stomach or my appendix was always aggravated. So my stomach was always a bit swollen. And I've noticed, especially in the past like 3 or 4 months, that my stomach, for the first time ever, is now quite flat. Which sounds like a real humble brag, I promise is not meant to be, but that's just something I've noticed in the aftermath. The swelling has just gone down so much. It was swelling that I didn't even realise was swelling, but it's just, my stomach was always really hard before, and now it's not, and it's flatter, so that's something. And on that note, I'm going to end this video. A huge thank you to you for watching this, and a huge thank you to Prime Video for sponsoring. Make sure you go check them out. I'll leave links in the description box down below. If you have any more invasive questions about my life, then please put them in the comments down below and I will answer as best I can. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you on the next one, I suppose. Bye guys.